Tokyo, March 1972. The Budokan on a championship night carries something in the air that you feel before you can name it. 6,000 people packed into a building that has hosted serious martial arts competition for decades, the walls holding the accumulated weight of every championship that happened here before this one. The crowd understands what they are watching, the way only practitioners understand things, not as spectators processing entertainment, but as people who have trained enough to see what is happening beneath the surface of what is happening. Bruce Lee is in the front row. He came to Japan for film meetings, and a mutual contact at the Japan Judo Federation arranged the invitation to attend as an honored guest and present the Women's World Championship trophy. He said yes, because the timing aligned, and because watching serious judo at this level was worth the evening, regardless of anything ceremonial attached to it. He has been here since the card started, watching with the quality of attention he brings to any serious physical discipline, building a picture from what he observes. The championship bracket has given him several hours of excellent material. The woman who won the final gave him the most. Her name is Nakamura Yuki, 26 years old, Osaka-born, training in judo since she was 8 years old, which means 18 years of daily practice, 18 years of throws and falls and pins, and the specific physical conditioning that judo builds into a body over that kind of time. The Japanese sporting press covers her with the reverence reserved for practitioners who transcended being competitive years ago and became something closer to definitional. Her record is 57 wins, 0 losses. She has never lost. Not in junior competition, not in senior competition, not at any level, at any age, against any opponent, across 18 years of serious judo. She is 5'7", 170 pounds, and what makes her exceptional is not size and not raw power. It is timing, the specific ability to find the fraction of a second when an opponent's balance has committed to a direction and cannot be recalled, and to use that fraction with the precision that 18 years of daily repetition builds into pure reflex. She does not feel like she is fast when you watch her. She feels like she is early. She is always, slightly, already there. Tonight's final was against a French competitor who was genuinely excellent, the best opponent Nakamura has faced in 3 years of championship competition. The French fighter survived 2 throws in the first period that would have ended most matches, which the crowd appreciated with the specific warm appreciation of serious people watching genuine quality on both sides of an exchange. Nakamura won by ippon in the second period, with a throw that the front rows felt in their seats. The federation chairman took the microphone after the decision was announced and said several things in Japanese about the evening and the tradition it represented. The crowd listened with the warm attention of people who have watched something excellent and are receiving the official acknowledgement of it. Then the chairman said something that the front sections responded to first, the wave of recognition moving outward as the name traveled through the building. He said Bruce Lee's name. The reaction was immediate and genuine, the specific noise of a crowd that has been given something it didn't expect to receive and is expressing its gratitude at full volume. The Budokan in full voice is a significant thing, and it was in full voice for those several seconds. Bruce stood from the front row, received the trophy from the chairman, and walked to the competition platform. He climbed it and crossed toward the center, where Nakamura was standing with her coaches, and he brought his hands together in front of his chest and bowed. Full bow, complete and unhurried, and given entirely. Nakamura did not bow back. She stood with her arms at her sides and looked at Bruce with an expression that had been organized around a decision she had apparently made before he crossed the platform toward her. The people in the front rows could read that expression clearly. The federation chairman could read it. Her coaches could read it. 6,000 people in a building that treats the bow as a language understood what a refused bow communicated. The noise of the Budokan dropped like someone had turned a dial. The federation chairman was already moving toward the platform center. A federation official near the scorer's table had risen from his seat. One of Nakamura's coaches took a step. Nakamura reached the announcement microphone before any of them reached her. She spoke in Japanese first, measured and direct, without rushing. Then she said it again in English, because she had prepared this and wanted everyone to understand it without translation lag. She said, "I want to say something before this continues." She said, "I have trained in judo every single day for 18 years. I have entered 57 competitions and won all 57. I have given this discipline everything I have, every morning, every session, every fall, every year, without a single exception. The organization that claims to honor that achievement has arranged for my championship trophy to be presented by a Hollywood film actor who has built a career performing martial arts for cameras and presenting that performance to the world as the real thing." She looked at Bruce directly. "Your films are entertainment. There is nothing wrong with making entertainment. But entertainment is not what I have spent 18 years building, and I will not have the two things treated as equivalent at my championship ceremony. You have made money from the image of something serious people built with their bodies and their years. That is not the same as building it. You do not have standing here. She said, I will not bow to a Hollywood performance, and I will not accept this trophy from someone who does not understand what it represents. 6,000 people were completely silent. Subscribe right now. What Bruce says next is the sentence that makes everything that follows possible. Bruce stood on the platform holding the trophy. His expression had not changed significantly from how it had been when he crossed the platform. He looked at Nakamura with a complete, unhurried attention that was his most consistent quality in any situation, reading what was in front of him rather than reacting to the surface of it. He said, "May I respond?" She gestured toward the microphone. The gesture said yes, and also said, "Go ahead, and show me you have something worth saying." He took the microphone from the Federation chairman, who handed it over with the expression of a man who has organized this event for 6 months and is watching it become something he did not organize. He said, I started training when I was 13 years old. I trained under Ip Man, who I believe this community knows. I have spent 20 years developing and teaching a martial arts system that I call Jeet Kune Do, and I currently have students across 2 countries who train in it seriously, every day, the way you train every day. The films came from the training. The training did not come from the films. He paused. I understand why you looked at what is visible from the outside and reached the conclusion you reached. From the outside, the visible part is the film. The training is not visible. What I'm telling you is that the training is real, and it came first, and it produced everything else. I am a martial artist who has also made films. The order matters. Nakamura said, that is exactly what a performer would say. Bruce said, yes. And it's also what a genuine practitioner would say. The claim sounds the same either way. The only way to tell the difference is to test it. She said, test it how? He said, you're a judo world champion. If what I have is performance and not real martial arts, a few seconds on this platform should demonstrate that clearly. Right here, in front of everyone. The Budokan produced a sound that was immediate and enormous. 6,000 people responding to a challenge issued in public in the most public possible setting. The Federation chairman said several things quickly in Japanese and English that were reasonable and professional and accomplished nothing. 2 Federation officials were on their feet. Nakamura's head coach had reached her and was talking directly into her ear. She listened to him for 3 seconds. Then she said something to him in Japanese, brief and final sounding. He stopped talking. She looked at Bruce. Judo rules, she said. I use judo. You use whatever you have. The referee calls it. Bruce said, agreed. The championship referee, who had officiated every match tonight and who was still on the platform, looked at the Federation chairman with an expression that asked what he was supposed to do about this. The chairman looked at 6,000 people who were waiting. He made the decision that event organizers make when a situation has passed the point where their decisions are the relevant ones, which was to make it as safe as possible and get out of the way. He told the referee in Japanese to keep it clean and stop it immediately if it needed stopping. The referee acknowledged this and moved to the platform center and established terms clearly for both fighters and for the crowd. Exhibition format, light contact only, stop on his call. Both fighters acknowledged the terms. They found their positions. Nakamura settled into her judo stance. The stance of 18 years. Everything precisely where it had been trained to be. Her weight forward on the balls of her feet, her hands ready to establish grip, her posture, the posture of someone for whom this position was more natural than any other position her body occupied throughout the day. She was the best in the world at what she was about to do, and 6,000 people who understood judo knew exactly what that meant. Bruce stood the way Bruce stood, the specific non-stance that was a stance, the balanced, settled presence that looked like no particular readiness and was a specific and complete version of readiness that operated from different premises than any single discipline's template. The referee indicated they could begin. Nakamura moved first. She moved with the controlled speed of someone who has been doing this since they were 8 years old, closing distance with the smooth efficiency of a technique, drilled past conscious thought into pure reflex. Her right hand reached for his lapel. Her left hand reached for his sleeve. The two-handed grip that was the foundation of everything she did, established in the first moment of contact in almost every match she had ever won. Her right hand found his lapel. Her left hand found his sleeve. The grip was established, real and solid. She loaded the throw, the hip rotation beginning, the pull and lift coordinating, the technique engaging with the full mechanical precision of 18 years. She threw him the way she threw everyone, which was completely and without error, the throw executing exactly as designed, the technique doing exactly what it was built to do. Bruce went up and came down. He landed on the platform with a sound that carried to every section of the Budokan, a solid sound, the sound of a body meeting a hard surface with real force behind the meeting. The Budokan did not make a sound for approximately 3 seconds. Then it made several sounds at once, 6,000 people producing different versions of the same response, which was the response of people who watched something happen that they did not expect to happen. Not the throw itself, which was expected, which was why she was the world champion. What was not expected was the completeness of it. The fact that the man who had been walking and standing with that specific quality of presence had been thrown cleanly and was lying on the platform without having avoided any part of it. He was on the platform for 8 seconds. In 8 seconds, the Budokan went through several distinct phases of noise. The first 3 seconds were the stunned silence of a crowd that has seen something it didn't anticipate. Then the noise that follows stunned silence when the thing that caused it was dramatic, a building wave of crowd response, some of it supportive of Nakamura, and some of it uncertain, and some of it simply the expression of 6,000 people who were fully present for something significant. Then, at 8 seconds, Bruce stood up. He came up clean and easy, the way you come up from a fall when the fall produced no physical consequence worth managing, weight shifting from the mat to his feet in a single fluid motion, and when he was upright he was smiling. Not a performance smile, not the smile someone produces when they are managing how they appear to an audience. The genuine small smile of someone who has just received specific and valuable information and is pleased to have it. Nakamura looked at the smile. Her expression, which had been the expression of someone who has just successfully executed their best technique, changed. She had won 57 consecutive matches. She had thrown world-class competitors and watched them lie on the mat and get up slowly and carefully and with the visible physical consequences of being thrown by Nakamura Yuki. This was the first time she had thrown someone and watched them stand up smiling. She said, "What are you smiling about?" He said, "Your throw is outstanding. The hip loading is earlier in the sequence than I expected, and the pull timing is later. That specific combination creates a window that I hadn't seen before. I needed to feel it from inside to understand where the window is." She looked at him for a moment. She said, "You let me throw you." He said, "The first time, yes." She said, "The first time." He said, "There won't be a second time in the same way." 6,000 people made a sound that started at the front rows and built toward the back. She came at him. Same entry, same grip attempt. The approach that had opened every successful throw in her career, moving toward him with the controlled speed of 18 years. His left forearm came up and met her, reaching right hand at the wrist, a contact that was brief and precisely placed, and the contact redirected her reaching hand past him rather than to his lapel. He was already stepping inside her approach path, closer than she expected, inside the range where her throwing techniques needed space to develop, and from that inside position, his right hand found her left shoulder at a specific point, the point where her weight was loaded for the throw. The touch was small, the consequence was not small. Her weight, fully loaded in one direction and committed to staying there, received a small addition in the same direction, and the addition was enough. Her balance shifted past the point where her body's automatic correction could retrieve it. She stumbled, 3 quick steps forward, catching herself before the mat, and when she straightened and turned, her expression had moved past professional assessment into something more engaged and more personal. She came again. Different entry. Adapting. The real-time adjustment of a serious competitor who incorporates what each exchange shows her. She tried to close distance faster, trying to establish the grip before he could read the approach. He moved inside the closing distance rather than away from it, getting closer rather than creating space, and her grip attempt found him too close to throw effectively. From that inside position, his left palm found her right hip at the loading point, and the touch converted the loading motion into something her balance couldn't manage. She went down. Her knee met the platform, and her hand came out to catch herself, and she was on all fours for a moment, and when she pushed up, she was already looking at him. The Federation chairman was on the platform. Both of Nakamura's coaches had come through the ropes. The championship referee was at the center, with his arms spread wide, the formal signal that the exchange was concluded. Nakamura was on her feet and moving toward Bruce, who had started moving toward the platform edge. Her coaches were reaching for her. The referee was saying something. Security staff stationed at the platform corners were in motion. She went around the coach on her left. The security staff moved to intercept, and she went around them too, not through them, around them, with the footwork of someone who has spent 18 years learning exactly how to move around obstacles. She reached Bruce before anyone reached her. Her hand closed on his arm. He stopped. He didn't stop because of the grip, though the grip was real and solid. He stopped because something in how she had said nothing to him yet, in the quality of the grip itself, communicated that what was behind it was not what it would have been 2 minutes ago. He turned. She was standing close, her coaches arriving behind her, the security staff forming a loose perimeter, the Federation chairman somewhere behind all of it, saying something into the announcement microphone that nobody was primarily listening to. She looked at him. Her breathing was elevated. She said, "The loading point on my right hip." He said, "Yes." She said, "You found it in the first throw." He said, "When you threw me, I felt where the commitment was. The hip loads before the pull. The hip is always first. Once I knew that from inside the throw, I knew where to look." She said, "That is less than a second." He said, "Less than that." She said, "Nobody has found that in 18 years. He said, "Nobody was inside the throw looking for it." She said, "You chose to land so you could find it." He said, "Yes." She said, "And then you used what you found." He said, "Yes." She looked at him. The security staff was present, and the coaches were present, and 6,000 people were watching all of it, and she was looking at him with an expression that had been sorting itself out for the last several minutes and had now arrived somewhere. She said, "I said things tonight." He said, "Yes." She said, "In front of everyone here." He said, "Yes." She said, "I was wrong." She said it the same way she said everything, directly and without decoration. Not performing an apology. Stating a fact. She turned toward the 6,000 people in the Budokan, and she picked up the microphone that had been set down somewhere in the previous several minutes, and she said, in Japanese, and then in English, "I made a statement at the beginning of this ceremony about the man standing next to me. I said he had no standing here. I said what he does is performance and not real martial arts." She paused. He landed on this platform 8 seconds ago and stood up smiling because he had learned something from being thrown. Then he showed me what he learned. She paused again. I was wrong about him. I am saying that in front of everyone here because I said the wrong thing in front of everyone here. She turned toward Bruce. She brought her hands together in front of her chest. She bowed, not a shallow bow, not a performed bow. The full formal bow of a serious practitioner, given completely. Bruce returned it. Matching depth, matching duration. 6,000 people in the Budokan responded, and what they produced was the warmest sound the building had made all evening, warmer than the championship response, warmer than Bruce's introduction, the specific warmth of people watching something difficult resolve with honesty. Bruce picked up the championship trophy from the platform edge, where it had been set down. He walked to Nakamura and held it out to her. She took it. The Federation chairman said the closing words of the ceremony. The crowd did what crowds do when a ceremony has given them more than they arrived expecting. Backstage, in the corridor outside the competition area, Nakamura found Bruce before he left the building. She said, "The hip loading tell. How do I address it?" He told her specifically, and without holding anything back, the way he told his students things when they asked real questions. The origin of the tell in the weight transfer that preceded the hip, what the correction required, how long it would take, what it would cost in the short term. She asked 3 specific questions. He answered all 3. She said, "Come back tomorrow morning, 6 o'clock. I want to show you something about the pull timing." He said, "I'll be there." She was already on the mat when he arrived at 6. Subscribe if this story was worth your time. Drop 1 word in the comments. Tell me what those 8 seconds were really about. I read every one.